The woman, while exploring, discovered a strange mineral. It could actually change its shape at will, and no matter what environment it was in, this mineral always remained at 37 degrees, exactly the same as the temperature of the human body. Seeing that the mineral was so unusual, Danny quickly took a photo, preparing to send it to an expert for identification. But at this moment, her father called, saying that her sister was about to no longer hold on in the hospital. Her father, having no money for treatment, planned to completely give up. It turned out that Danny had an older sister whom she had grown up with, but she was unfortunately diagnosed with terminal cancer. In order to pay her sister's expensive medical expenses, Danny chose to come to Russia from the United States to carry out geological surveys at various construction sites. Years of work experience made Danny clearly understand that this mineral she had picked up was definitely extremely valuable. So Danny told her father that after she returned to the United States and sold this mineral, she would be able to save enough money for her sister's cancer treatment. Immediately afterward, she asked her co-worker to drive and take her to the nearest airport. She took the mineral with her, preparing to return home to help treat her sister. But what Danny did not know was that what awaited her would be a life and death crisis. After relaxing on the plane, Danny looked out the window. During the 3 years she had worked here, this was the first time she had admired the scenery here. But suddenly Danny noticed a large flock of birds ahead. A flock of birds appearing at this altitude was already somewhat unusual. But just as Danny reminded the pilot to be careful, the flock actually attacked the plane on its own. In just an instant, the plane completely lost control. Danny hurriedly fastened her seatbelt. As the plane's altitude rapidly dropped, Danny completely lost consciousness. And when Danny woke up again, she discovered that she was lying inside the wreckage of the plane. She was the only survivor on the entire plane. Then Danny slowly walked out of the plane, only to discover that the plane had crash-landed in a dense forest. It was obvious that there would be no one here at all. Having no other choice, Danny could only keep calling for help over the radio, but there was no response at all. Now Danny could only save herself in the most primitive way. She first took out a compass and a map, and determined the location of the crash. As a result, she discovered that the nearest road was at least 60 kilometers away by mountain trail from the crash site. Not to mention that it was now winter. Even if she had enough food and clothing, it would still take at least 5 days to reach the road. This method was obviously not feasible. Helpless Danny could only think of another way. Then she set fire to the wooden crates and documents from the plane, hoping that someone would notice her in the darkness. But this tiny firelight to the entire mountain region was just like one of the few stars in the night sky, and simply would not attract anyone's attention. The next day, Danny woke up from her sleep. However, the scene outside made her even more terrified. The wreckage of the plane was surrounded by mountains and forests. It was obvious that this place was an uninhabited area. This meant that Danny could only save herself now, so she immediately began collecting useful supplies. Fortunately, Danny not only found some first aid kits, she also found a pistol beside the pilot. This just happened to give Danny something she could use for self-defense. After organizing everything, Danny prepared to head toward the road. But suddenly the radio on the plane transmitted a voice. However, Danny thought that hope had finally arrived, but she did not know that the real danger had only just begun. Every coincidence and every accident seemed to be related to that mysterious mineral, and she had already become the target of some people.